There's a new hello world in town. Its name is Bird, Flappy Bird, and it's here to flap and stay. Everyone is trying to show people how to make their own version of this game in both Unity and everything. So why not in GameMaker? Hey Bales, welcome back to GameMaker and a new tutorial. This time I'm going to show how to make the game mechanics of Flappy Bird, as you can see the game here. It doesn't require a lot. It's pretty small, so it should be over quickly. But I will try to go through this thoroughly and do not miss anything. It will not show you how to port it to Android, how to format it to work on Android or something like that, or mobile phones in general. It will not show you how to save your score, how to put it on online. It's simply the game mechanics, so it's very boiled down. But I hope you can get something out of this. I haven't seen it made in GameMaker yet, but I can only guess that it's made plenty of times. But as I said in the intro, it's sort of a new hello world of game making. So I guess I had to do it at some point. Also, I'm gonna try in general to make some more videos where I take a element from a specific game and then I will try to recreate that element in GameMaker so you can get an idea of specific game elements, how to recreate them. But anyway, sprites. I have 5 sprites in total. We got the player, and right now he's just a very minimalistic version of Flappy Bird. I would call him Blocky Bird, and not bird, but bird with a T. We want him to be precise and centered. The reason we want him to be precise is we want him to rotate while he moves around, and to make sure that he collides with everything. We need the precise collision checking, and this will also work better if you have like a sprite inside the square instead. Now it's just a square, so it's pretty simple. But this is about the size it looks like Flappy Bird is in a little smaller because he is cut out from a square. But in the actual game, I've tried to replicate everything as much as I could in the game. So hopefully it should look pretty much the same. Then we got the grass, and the color of this is not important. It's a solid block, so it's gonna be our solid block. So it will just be invisible, and we'll draw a background over it. And then we got the obstacles, and right now they just look like this. And how you wanna texture them, how make them look, it's something you will need to work into yourself. My idea would be to add tiles on top of them, but right now this is simple and be stretched to the size it needs to be. You can always draw something on top of them or something in your own game, but this is just the simple mechanics, so I will not go into detail with such things. If enough people ask for it, I might make a tutorial how you can do that, but for now, this is how I just make it look quickly, and it will be stretched to the size they need to be. It's the pipes, the obstacles in the game. And no precise collision here because it's just a square and it doesn't rotate or anything. And we'll just have your origin at 0, 0. The same for the grass. No precise collision and 0, 0 origin. And then we got the point, and same here. And the point will be invisible as well, so no reason to do anything. I'll just put yellow because that's a good point color, but you can do what you want. And then I have the game over here, and simply centered, and you can make it any size you want. It will be put on the right spot on the screen, and you will have it like that. The reason I do this is because then you have a more fancy game over sign instead of text, but you could use text as well. Anyway, that's the sprites of the game. Not a whole lot, but and then we have one background, and this one, and it will be scrolling from right to left, so it will be moving. And yeah, it's pretty simple. 32 by 96. 96 is simply what I believe was a good height for the ground. You can make it what size you want, and then just put a solid block, a grass block behind it. But before we go into the objects and stuff, one last resource of these. We have 2 fonts. Font score, which is a big one. That's the big score, where you can see your score in the center of the screen while you play. And then we've got the high score, and that's smaller. But that's simply two fonts I'm gonna use here. And now you can see how the game looks. I've tried to match the scale of a phone here, and instead of touch, it's simply using the mouse button. So right now it's in the first state of the game, where it is simply standing still until you press. You can have buttons here or something if you want to sides or to high score or something like that. But I have chosen not to show any of this. I have however prepared a example of how or an object so you can easily add buttons without problem. But when you then press, the game starts and it will generate random pipes, and it will show sort of just like the game. And if you hit something, flash white, and it will come to game over, and it will show your new best and your new one, what you just had, and your best score. And right now my best score is 0, but when we play again, I will then have another one. And as you can see, it counts every time you are in between pipes, so that works well. And you are rotating towards your movement direction-ish. And of course, if you hit the ground down here, you will die as well. You can see new 16 and best was before 15 or 5, sorry. So it works great. One thing I also tried was the little bop the game over does when you're dying. I like that from the old one, a small nice effect, and I will show you how to do that as well. So let's go into the coding. We got a series of objects. We got in the game, we have the player, the grass, which is our solid parent. Or not parent, we're not using any parent, but that's our main solid type. If you want to modify the game, you could use this as a parent, and then you can have multiple objects. Then we got the obstacle and the point. And down here we got in the high score, we have the high score object. And this will be the last thing we're going to go through. We have two rooms. We have the game room, which is also the start room before the game starts, but I will come back to that. And here we have just filled out the bottom with the solid block, so it fits the background, and we just added a Flappy Bird object up in the corner. So he can be anywhere, he will be moved to the position he needs to be at, and there's no creation code or anything. It's simply just these two objects. And right now my format of the room is 320 480, but you can change these values and the game will try to adapt to new values. So it works pretty well. And then the room high score, we simply have the game over. Again, here we have one simple code, but I will come back to that. There is not a lot of code in here either. So we have these two rooms, and then we have the objects. The grass object and the grass object is simply in the bottom of the screen, standing still. Nothing happens because there's no reason to move it. It's invisible, and the grass is moving nowhere. The obstacles will move with the background speed, so we're gonna use the background speed to imitate us moving towards the right. So we'll just simply, these objects, x plus equals background h speed, horizontal speed, and then they will move with the background. And if their boundary box to the right is less than 0, so if they're out of the frame, they'll destroy, so they do not take up any more memory. And the same for the points. So these are pretty much the same. Nothing big, and of course the obstacle is visible because we want to show them, and the points are not. And then the main object is object player, and we have some variables. We have these two, game on and dead. Dead checks if you are dead, fun enough, and game on checks if the game is on, if you're playing right now. So in the start we're not playing, so it's false, and we're not dead. The score is set to 0 in the start, we just use the built-in variable, no reason to do anything else. And our vertical speed, to make it have gravity, we have a vertical speed. We do not need a horizontal speed like in our platformer tutorials. You can find them up here in the corner for a moment. But we do not need any horizontal speed here because our player is actually not moving horizontally. The background is moving to imitate this. So vertical speed is the only thing we need. And then we have the flash variable, and simply if this is true, then the screen will flash white and then it will set to false again. So no biggies here. Then we will place our player, and his X position will be 1/3 into the screen towards from the left, 1/3 of the screen in, and then midways on the y-axis. And then we set the room speed, the horizontal speed, to minus room width divided with room speed divided with 2. And this is simply, I tried some stuff out, and this is simply to make it sure that there is about 2 seconds, I think it was, between every pipe spawn point. And that seemed to be about the same as in the actual Flappy Bird. I was all the time while programming this, I was looking at the screen here and programming, and then I looked at the game, tried the places, and always looking back and forth to make sure that everything worked fine. Then in the step event, the first thing up here is it checks if the game is started, if it's not, and if the player is not dead. So if we have not started the game yet, then if any mouse button is pressed, the game starts, and alarm 0 is set to room speed times 2, so 2 seconds. Or if not, exit. And exit simply does so none of this code down here is run. So if the game is not started or starting or is started already, then this code will make sure that nothing down here is run. And this will be our controls down here in a moment. Alarm 0 simply create obstacles with this code. And yeah, better go through this right now. Up here we create the obstacles, and down here we simply resets the alarm to 1 second, so room speed. What we do here is we create 3 objects. We create a obstacle, one of the pipes. We set its image X scale to 2, so they are wider. And then up here we first find out where the hole should be in the pipes vertically, the position of the hole. And that will be at least 32, so it will not be all in the top, plus random object grass y minus 192. So at least 32 below the screen top, and 32 above the the grass. Somewhere in between there will be a hole, and that hole will be 64 pixels high, I think it was. And then after finding this position, then we create a hole which is that height divided with 32 in the height y scale, making sure that the pipe only goes down to there. That's our the top pipe we create. Maybe if we have like the screen here, then first we create this pipe up here, and that's a pipe with some shine here. Boom, boom, super pretty pipe. So that's this position here is the whole start, so the whole position. So it will make sure that the Y scale only goes down to that hole, and the X scale will always be 2. So it will always have the same width, but a different hole. Then the next object here is a point, and that point will be placed here. And actually I think the height of the hole is 128, so there's space. But it will be placed here on the second half of the pipe, making sure that you are midway through before you collide with it and thereby get the point. That seemed also about the same as in Flappy Bird, so I just went with that. You can always tweak the values to have him however you want. And the last object is the other pipe, and if we have the grass down here, boom, boom, like this, then it simply places the pipe here and makes sure that you can see by room width and hole plus 128, so plus 128, that's here, and then it simply places there. Of course, these are placed outside of the screen, so they will move into the screen, but so room width plus 32, so they're placed out here. But I'll just show you in the screen here. But the Y scale is then set so it got the right scale. So that's actually just how it works. So hope that illustration worked a little, helped a little on it. When the game is started, after pressing a button, you'll of course move, and when you collide with a point, you'll simply add score and destroy the point object. You will not get infinite points from that one. So you will get 1 score every time you collide with a score object. Pretty simple, just want to get that out of the way. And oh yeah, one thing before we go to the whole functioning step event code. On the game start, it creates a surface and a global high score variable, 2 variables here. Back surface is our surface containing variable, and high score is our high score. And right now it just sets it to 0. Normally you will probably want to read either a website or an ini file or something like that and get the high score from there. If Flappy Bird works locally, so you will just have a ini file. Like in my my endless runner, I'll put a link up here for a moment. You can download that example as well. And there you can see how I did, if you are intermediate enough to go through that code. In that example you can watch how to, I have no tutorial out on it, but you can watch your code and see how I made it adapt to both Windows computers and phones and everything I could. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, the surface is created from the application surface, a copy of that. Same size, and the reason I do this is because when we die, instead of keeping all the objects in the room and move them to the next room, we just want the picture. So every time we die, and I will show you in a moment, then it will update this surface so it contains a copy of the application surface. Pretty cool. Now, the step event here. When we are working, then first we have the gravity here and the controls. Gravity is simply we add 1 to vertical speed all the time, and then if we're not dead and any mouse button is pressed, then vertical speed is minus 8. So that will make you go up a little. And again, it's just trial and error. I have found this value. It seemed pretty much like how it was in the game, so I went with it. You can change this as well. And also the gravity if you want to. But this simply sets the vertical speed, and then down here we will move. And here it checks for collisions. If there is a collision with the grass, and if it's not already dead. Either if there is a collision with grass, or if it's not already dead and there is a collision with an obstacle, then it will move. And the reason I do this is because we do not want it to land on top of the obstacle. We want it to go to the ground whenever it dies. And we just want it to go forward, plane down. So that's why we do this check for a dead, whether it's dead. And then if one of these cases are true, then it will do a while loop. And it will check if there is no place, meaning with grass, or if, again, the same as things it checks up here, if there's a obstacle and it's not dead. And if this is the case, then it will add 1 to to 1 to y, depending -1 or 1 depending on the vertical speed. So this will make it move. If it knows there will be a collision at the vertical speed, then it will just move to contact here. And then when that is done, then if it's not dead already, then it will set flash to true and dead to true, and it will set the background horizontal speed to 0. This stops the game, stops the screens from moving, and it will flash the screen. And I will show the flash in a moment as well. But and dead will be true. And then if game on is true, so if the game is currently running and it's lying on grass, then vertical speed will be set to 0, game on will be set to false because now we're not playing anymore, and alarm 1 will be set to room speed. So that will be 1 second. And that's just a delay before going to the next room. That's why I use alarm 1 here. And if none of this is the case, if there's no collisions, then it will simply move y plus equals vertical speed. Simple movement, very simple. And the last part here, I will first go to the alarm 1 and then I will tell you about the last part here. It's simple, but it will be a too big skip if I do not do this. So alarm 1 is a show high score, and it simply checks if it's set and if it's not game on. Then it will delete the background back surface. Sorry, yeah, the back surface is not actually a surface but a background. Forgot to tell that, but other than that, same what I said. And then it will create a new background from the surface. So it will take a screenshot, more or less, and then it will go to the high score room. And then when getting to the high score room, the code in here will be launched, where it sets the background 0 to back surface. So it will set the background so it will be looks like we're still in the same room because everything is there, but they are actually not there anymore. They are deleted because we went to another room. And to make this work, you need to of course have background 0 visible when the room starts, but you do not need to have a background set yet. Just make sure this is ticked, or else you will wonder what happened and where it is and stuff like that. But that's how that works. And then back to move here. The last part down here is simply to make the bird face the angle it's moving. We do not want it to. We want the illusion that it's moving towards the right all the time. So we do not want it to go directly up and directly down as it moves, because that looks weird. So if the game is currently on, then the image angle will be point direction x plus background h speed minus 2. And what this does is it will take, I think I will draw here again. If we have the room here, boom, 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 and we have the bird here, and this is turning this direction right now, then it will take the position plus the background h speed, and the horizontal speed is negative, so it will minus something here, so whatever the background speed is, and then minus 2 as well, just to make it a little further back. So a point here it will take, and then it will take y previous. So if we are moving up currently, the previous y position will be down here. That's our first 2 points here. And in a coordinate system, that will be around here. Boom, boom. And then it will take the current x, that's here, and y minus 8, so that's up here someplace, and here. And thus it will make it face this direction. Hopefully this is understandable. The reason I'm having the minus 2 and the minus 8 is it will look up a little more before it starts facing downwards, which it sort of does in the game, it looks like, at least to me. So I just tried to imitate that effect. But that's the step event, and the last part of code boom, 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 is in the draw event. And it will draw the player, the score, and the flash in here. It draws the player using the draw self command. There's no reason to do anything else. If you wanted it to, if you have a sprite that is grayscale and you want it to be different colors every time, you could simply set the image blend as well. And you could still use this one, or if you wanted to flash a lot of colors, you could use draw sprite extended or something, depending on what you want. Sorry, I'm keeping in some burps right now. And then we have the draw score, and it checks if alarm 1 is not, if alarm 1 is -1, or if alarm 1 is bigger than 3. And that makes sure that when it takes the screenshot, we don't want this to be drawn. So this will not draw in the moment it takes the screenshot. It sets the drawing color to white, the align to horizontally and vertically to the center, and then it sets the font to font score, our big font if you remember, and then it draws the text at the room width divided with 2, so in this horizontally in the center of the screen, but then the room height divided with 5, so towards the top of the screen. And then it simply draws string score, so it simply draws the score. And then if flash is true, then it will draw clear with white, so it will fill the screen with white, and it will set flash to false. So it will only do this for 1 frame if the flash when it flashes. Again, let's look at it once more to see how this works. We have the player drawn, we have this drawn up here, 1/5 of the screen down, and when you hit, 1 flash, bang. And then we get to the game over, and let's go directly to that now. The game over screen is controlled by this object, just as the game screen is controlled by the object player. And here we want it to be visible, and in the create event we have some variables and we set the position. We set the X position to room width divided with 2, so centered horizontally, and room height divided with 3 on the Y position, so a little up, 1/3 of the screen down from the top of the screen. And then we have a vertical speed on this one as well, and that's needed because we make this little jump of the thing. And then we have CanCon, and that's short for can continue, and it's false. And that's because we don't want to continue to out of this room before the animation is done, like the little jump and stuff like that, and everything is shown. In the step event, we have the movement to make sure that the little jump it does, and it simply checks first if CanCon equals false. If it cannot continue yet, then the Y is the minimum of Y plus vertical speed, comma room height divided with 3. So it starts here and it ends here. And since vertical speed starts by being negative, then it will first move a little up, and then we add 1 to vertical speed. So for every iteration, the gravity takes a toll, and then it will move down again. So it makes this little fun jump. Then we set the image alpha, and we simply set it to image alpha plus 1, and we start with a image alpha of 0. So we set this image alpha to plus 1, and that makes it fade in. We use this min function to make sure that it takes the lesser of 1 or image alpha plus 1, so it's not going above 1. Then we have a condition check down here if Y equals room height divided with 3, so if it's back on the right position, then CanCon equals true, so then we can continue. And then we have the skip or restart button, and it have 2 things. You can press with any mouse button, and if not position meaning mouse X, mouse Y, pop button. So if there's no parent button, and I will come back to that in a moment. But simply it checks if there is no button pressed, if the mouse is not hovering over any button, so if you are actually pressing the screen anywhere where there's no button, then if CanCon is true, then the high score will set to be set to the larger of the score or the high score. So if you have beaten the high score, then it will increase, and then it will go to the room game and thus restart the game. If CanCon is false, so if you cannot continue yet, then it will set CanCon to true and y to room height divided with, whoops, that should be 3. And this simply skips the animation, so you can quickly continue and then exit if in case we have more code. We do not really need that, but you can add one if you want. And thus we can continue the game in some way. The power button I use, and this is just to show how you can do it. Every time you create a button, you want it to have this parent power button, and that's because then it will check if this button, if any button is pressed, or if you're pressing the screen as you would do to continue. So that's the simple reason. You can add buttons, and then you can just set this parent, and then you can add them to the room, and then everything is cool. A simple way to do things. But that was actually everything in this example. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Comments on if you want more videos like this, if there's specific game mechanics you want me to show you. In 2D games, I'm not doing 3D. But in 2D games, then I would gladly show you how to do such mechanics if it's within my knowledge or if I can figure it out in any way. And I hope you have enjoyed this little tutorial, small tutorial. I hope you can bear over with me. I'm doing the Flappy Bird thing because some people is a little tired of it, me included, but I thought it was something I had to do at some point, and I was a little curious how easy it would be to do it, and it was very easy. So that's pretty cool. Also, one thing I love about Flappy Bird is Flappy Bird is that it shows how easy it is to create a game where with the simple gameplay, but where it still is fun or hard or stuff like that. So that's nice, I think. But I hope you have enjoyed, and if you did, please rate so, that would make me very happy. And see you next time. Bye! Whoa, you seem to be at the end of the video. If you liked this video, or even if you didn't, it would make me incredibly happy if you would just rate it. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.